Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. And today we are back with another episode of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode for you guys today here on the channel. Just want to say a massive thank you for all the love and support so far on the My Team Career Mode. Really appreciate all of that. And obviously, if you did end up enjoying today's video, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, as we make our way towards 20,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of the year. But now, as you can see, we're starting things off with some aero team building exercises. And this video, by the way, is going to be the final video before the patch. They did announce, Codemasters, that the patch, I think it was 1.2, is coming out on Xbox. And at the time of recording this, I did this the night before the patch came out. So for the Monaco Grand Prix, we'll see a completely new patch. So we might get a couple of teams getting buffed a little bit, a couple of teams getting nerfed. So that's going to be fascinating to find out what happens on that front. And I wonder if my team would actually get a buff or a nerf, maybe. I hope we don't get a nerf. That'd be upsetting. But anyway, moving things on, we're going to go over to the race weekend now for the Spanish Grand Prix and see where we line up versus our competitors. As you can see, we've got 548 R&D points, so I was trying to see if I could potentially do some form of chassis upgrade, but unfortunately that's something that I'm not going to be able to do as of yet, in terms of any major upgrades, that is. So we'll have to wait on that front for the time being, but I was having a look pretty much just to see where is the route that I need to go down, and I probably should have waited until the patch came out to actually record this episode. Just so I could see where my car lined with the rest of the field. But, you know, at the time I was obviously, you know, getting ahead with some content. So I just sort of, took it on my stride. Now we've finished, I believe, practice, and we've now got 1,163 R&D points, and I'm going to go ahead and do our first major upgrade of the series, and do a major rear downforce upgrade, to really start to apply the downforce to this car. We've got the package in terms of the aerodynamics. The low speed cornering is okay, high speed cornering we're still suffering with some understeer. Now, heading into qualifying, this is why I think recording this video during the pre-patch was probably not the greatest idea, and it just really bugged me and I didn't know what was going on. So, as we come across the start-finish line now here, we're onto the back of Nicholas Latifi, and we open up the DRS here. We cross the start-finish line, we set 1 minute 18.0. That's okay, not too bad there. So, I crossed the start-finish line and I thought, hey ho, that's alright. We're in front of Lando Norris, so I was like, okay, maybe I might be able to get through to Q2. I look on this screen and I got through to Q2, but I was fastest. Yeah. So, I thought to myself, what the hell is going on? How on earth have I just gone fastest? I did one run in qualifying. Jack Aiken didn't even set a lap time. So, at this point, I was puzzled. Now, normally, I race on around, at the moment, at the start of this game, 101 to 102 AI. For this race, I ran, at the start, 101, because I was a bit like, Spain, not very nice circuit for me. As soon as qualifying 1 finished, I instantly turned the difficulty up to, I believe it was 105 or 104 or 105, one of that. Anyway, just to ramp it up a little bit and see what was the difference. So across the line here, I set a 1 minute 17.5, so that's half a second faster than what we managed in Q1. That's quicker than Sainz, Verstappen, Magnussen, Norris, and again, really puzzled at this stage. So I decided, you know what? Let's go out on the medium compound tyres. Why the hell not? Let's see what I can do on this. And I actually managed to find more time on mediums. So we come across the start-finish line now, and we are going to go fastest again. And I'm getting really confused at this point, like, just doing this qualifying session. I'm like, hang on a second. I've just gone quickest on medium tyres. Again, this is before the patch. I don't know whether Spain was bugged before the patch, but something didn't feel right. And again, like I said, I whacked up the difficulty to try and help, and I still was faster than Charles Leclerc on medium compound tyres. And I was at this point, I was like, right, something is seriously wrong here, because, you know, we've ended up now going fastest in both qualifying sessions. So, I didn't really know what to do at this stage. I thought, I guess I just carry on. So I did. And you can see I'm checking it all through, and I'm just like, the 17.2, really, I don't even know if that's super quick or not, to be honest. So we go in towards Q3, so this is our first ever appearance in qualifying number 3. and in very weird circumstances. So as we now go towards the start-finish line here, back end slides a little bit on the exit, losing traction on the rear. We come across the start-finish line, and it's a 1:17.568, which of course we know is not our all-time best lap time. Bottas beats that on a 17.561, yeah, so kudos to him for that. Now towards our final run here of qualifying, it is down to this. Can we potentially, I guess, get pole position in the weirdest of circumstances? And as we now come across towards the start-finish line, we're a good 4/10, half a second up on our previous best lap. We crossed the start-finish line, and we did set, well, it was pole position, actually. Yeah, I was so confused. I was so confused by that. I was happy. I was like, Jesus Christ, I just got pole in the Force career. You know, what's up, man? But I've increased the difficulty to a difficulty that I'm not even comfortable with yet. And I got pole position on a 1:16.9. And Vettel set a 1:17.1. Now, here's where my confusion comes into place. As soon as we've done this now, I'll show you the grid here. So this is what the grid looks like. Now, the Xbox patch came out on the 9th of July. I believe you'll see this probably on the 10th of July, okay? So I then went ahead and recorded a qualifying session in the morning of the 9th of July, and I'm recording this video as well. And I set a lap time with Lewis Hamilton of a 1:15.7. Now, if I set my lap time of a 1:16.9, that would have still got me P9, but it got me pole position. So why the AIs were 2 seconds a lap slower, I have absolutely no idea. I genuinely don't have any answers. I don't know whether it's power unit wear, whether it's setup, whether it's... I didn't even make a setup for this race. I just left it at default. And I guess maybe, like, Codemasters, they never really release patch notes for their upcoming patches, which sucks. So I have no idea whether Spain was genuinely a track that was bugged for the AIs. If you guys have already completed Spain by the time I've seen this, and you are on Xbox and you did that before patch 1.02 came out, let me know in the comment section down below whether your AIs were unsurprisingly slow. Because for me, well, they just were. And I don't really know what else I can do about it, apart from I'll just take advantage of it.
Welcome along then to what promises to be another fascinating Spanish Grand Prix. A race which saw Max Verstappen win on his first ever appearance with the Red Bull team in 2016. This after the dramatic coming together of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg on the first lap. Will we see more moments for the scrapbook here today? It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty. Positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Thomas lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Bottas, Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen, Albon, Ricciardo, Perez and Antonio Giovinazzi. Raikkonen, Kvyat, Lando Norris and Stroll, Gasly, Sainz, Nicholas Latifi and Esteban Ocon. They've taken a grid penalty. Grosjean, Magnussen, Aitken and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Alright, so we're on the grid then to start the Spanish Grand Prix, and I've literally just checked on my phone just now to see if there are any patch notes, and Codemasters said that they're not releasing any, so I don't know. Maybe Spain was just bugged for my career mode. I don't know, but I'm on pole position. I'm just going to take advantage of it. I'm not that bothered. So anyway, then we're on the grid then. The start of the Spanish Grand Prix then. We've got 5 red lights here, and it's lights out. You go here to start the Spanish Grand Prix off. It's a good start from us, but it's a better start for Sebastian Vettel on those softer compound tyres as he now makes the drag down towards the first corner here. That Ferrari power unit, obviously very quick as well in this career mode as we go in towards the first corner now, and Sebastian Vettel takes the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix and instantly demotes the Korean down into second place. Then Charles Leclerc in third ahead of Max Verstappen, I think it is, and then it's Lewis Hamilton, it's Bottas in P5 then as we ride on board with ourselves now as we fly through in towards the middle sector now of the circuit here. Vettel taking already nearly a second clear now as we go into the middle sector now. 1.1 clear as we get onto the traction, but now we need to start to settle ourselves down a little bit and see what we can do about the charging Ferrari and whether the race pace is going to be as competitive as qualifying. Or maybe not. I have no idea as we now go through in towards the ending of this middle sector here, and already Vettel a second clear. Had Charles Leclerc though 0.6 back. Verstappen though 1.6 behind us, and then Bottas 1.9. But what I found out is that this sector was where the AIs were really slow compared to me, because you can see here that we're already gaining on Sebastian Vettel. We've gained a good 0.2 of a second here as we go in towards this last sector, and in fairness I felt really comfortable through this final sector, but you can see straight away that gap from Sebastian Vettel, which was around about 1.1 seconds, has dropped to half a second in one sector. So that kind of confirmed to me, and Charles Leclerc is already 1.4 seconds back, so Vettel sets the fastest lap of the race so far. We, meanwhile, are just hovering all over the back of Sebastian Vettel. We've set the fastest lap of the race so far. Now in towards the first corner here, I'm just waiting. Pretty much doing what a stealthy Korean would do. Seek out its prey, wait for it, and then I will strike. And as you can see now, going a little bit wide down the exit as we now try and find our way past this Ferrari now. We've clearly got the pace now to beat the Ferraris. And like I said, I don't know whether the game was bugged, but at the end of the day, if the game was bugged and it doesn't happen ever, I'll take advantage of it. Screw it, I'm not bothered. So as you can see now, we're going down in towards the middle sector here. We're going to ride on board for the rest of this lap here as we now try and hunt down Sebastian Vettel, keeping him in our sights. DRS will now be enabled, so we can use that to our advantages. We lift off a little bit mid-corner there, and then we get a bit of a skirmish exit, resulting in me having to delay my DRS attack there. But now, in towards this hairpin corner, we're too far back to mount any form of challenge on Sebastian Vettel, but I know exactly where I want to mount my challenge, and that is on the start-finish straight with the DRS there, because we get such a good exit out of the last corner. I feel like that's our best bet to really get onto the back of Sebastian. We've got our ERS saved up as well, so we can really go for this now. We're going towards the final chicane here, literally pushing that Ferrari across now, and you can see brilliant exit, 0.2 of a second back now as we're on to the start finish straight here, getting Sebastian Vettel. The DRS is open, and now it's going to be a straight drag race down the start finish straight here. Vettel though with really great straight line speed actually in that Ferrari, and of course he's going to be using the ERS as well to help him out. But we're going to go down the inside of Sebastian Vettel and take the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, and that is a very, very nice overtake there, and the Koreans really stepping up to the challenge as now we get on to the end of that lap. Lap 13 of the Grand Prix now, and Sebastian Vettel came into the pits because of course he's on a two-stop strategy. Although weirdly, speaking of Vettel, he's actually out of this Spanish Grand Prix. He qualified on the medium compound tyres in Q2, but he started on softs. Really weird. So yeah, there is Sebastian Vettel. Oh God alive. That's what happens when you're, lose a little bit of concentration there. That could have gone sour in a heartbeat. Lap 14 of the Grand Prix now, and we're coming in for our one and only stop onto the hard compound tyres, and we have a 10-second lead over Lewis Hamilton, and he's also on the same strategy. So, yeah, we're probably, in fact, I mean, we've got myself, Hamilton, Albon, Ricciardo, and Perez are all on the medium compound tyres, all doing the same strategy. So, realistically, no one's really going to be anywhere near me. So we're coming in now. We're going to go onto the hard compound tyres. It's a 2-second stop, so big up the Koreans on that stop. Yeah, we're going to go back out again in the lead. And that Haas car that's coming up behind me is actually a lap down. Yeah, I think you can kind of see where this is going. And yeah, I'm puzzled, really. Lap 22 of the Grand Prix now, and we have a 17-second lead over the Mercedes as Daniel Ricciardo there does DNF from the Spanish Grand Prix, and here's why. Unfortunately, his Renault engine has blown up there, and I can now see why he wants to leave and go to Mercedes powered McLarens, and he'll let Fernando Alonso deal with that. But it is what it is. Lap 26 of the Grand Prix. We found some cars, apart from the fact I'm actually just lapping them. I'm actually not do anything else. Speaking of that, though, I've just set the fastest middle sector of the race so far. I was just in my own little bubble, to be honest, for the entirety of this Grand Prix, really, apart from when I was chasing Seb down at the start of the Grand Prix. We've got Nicholas Latifi in the other Williams car just in front of us. But I will say, though, despite of what seems to be an AI bug, which clearly has been fixed from the patch, the car felt absolutely sensational around here. So we set a 119.2 to the fast lap there is so far. Yeah, I do mean that. The car itself around here surprised me heavily. I said at the end of the last episode we would seriously struggle to make things work around here. Speaking of making things work, it's not working for Jack Aiken. Works for me though, because I just lapped my own teammate. But yeah, the car, in all fairness, was planted to the circuit. I had to lift off of, one or two places here or there, but overall, it was an absolute stellar car this weekend. And as we come now in towards the last sector on the final lap here, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Like I said, I didn't decrease the difficulty. Why would I need to? I increased it to 105, and it made no difference at all. Maybe I should have just gone to 110, I don't know, but we're going to cross the start-finish line anyway, and take our first victory in F1 2020, my team, with Force Korea, to take P1 at the Spanish Grand Prix. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, I'm not going to lie to you guys. There's nothing I can do, really. The AIs were just slow, and I didn't know whether it was just a qualifying bug or, any other sort of bug. Big up none of those guys look Korean. Why have I got mechanics that don't look Korean? I need to have a word with them and fire them immediately. But as you can see, we're going to take the top step of the podium. It's controversial circumstances. I completely understand that. Yo, my garage looks sick. Yo, big up the gradients on the blue and the... Yo, Force Korea doing bits out here. Valtteri Bottas there, P7 for Mercedes. So the two-stop strategy again did not work today. And now as we come across, you can see us finally taking a celebration. And unfortunately, there's no nuclear bomb celebration, so I couldn't really do that, which is a bit of a shame. But as now we take our trophy, we'll spray some champagne instead. I would have preferred to have a minigun out and spray that around everywhere. But unfortunately, they didn't let me have that. They said you can only have a champagne bottle, so I had to make do with what I had. Yeah, I decided, even though, this race was very simple, and I knew that from a while, I just decided to leave it, because I was in the midst of recording. Also, by the way, the Podium Pass was also a thing that's now available, so if you do want to buy the Podium Pass, you can, I'm actually going through my tiers, as you can see right here. I thought I'd show this, because why not? You can see that we've unlocked tier number 2, but screw tier number 2, let's go straight to tier number 3, and we get that lovely stuff, and some new little bits and bobs there. I haven't bought VIP, because, why would I? But as you can see, we also got 3-second time penalty for track limits. But yeah, I was just having a look through the grid, looking at everybody's fastest laps and just seeing where everybody was at, and just basically trying to get my head around this. Like I said, I could have waited till the patch that came out today as I'm recording this, but I didn't know what it was. I honestly thought the patch would literally just be to change the Williams livery. That was it, which it did. But clearly maybe there was a bit more to it. So I had a look at Hamilton's laps here. So he was setting 121s, 22s, then he was on 21s again on his hard compound tyres. Then towards the end of the stint, he picked up the pace, he was setting in the 20s, then did a 19.7. Compare that to me, we were in the 20s, 21, a lot more 1-minute 20s though, so consistent 21s. Then on the hard tyres, 1-minute 20s, 20s, 19s, 19.2, 19.2, 19.7, 19.2. So, yeah, they were just not really... They were either sort of half-heartedly matching or they just weren't. But in the Drivers' Championship, of course, we now catapult to 6th in the Championship on 55 points in front of Max Verstappen. But I will not do any more races. And well, I haven't done any more races now the patch has come out. So, next race in Monaco, we should see a rebalanced order, I guess. In the Constructors' Championship, we go back in front of McLaren on 55 points now. But of course, that is what happened in this Grand Prix. Yeah, what can you say? If the game is going to be bugged, it's not my fault. So, it is what it is. I upped the difficulty, and I couldn't do anything more about it. Like I said, I could have just ramped up to 110, but I thought potentially it could have been just a qualifying bug, because we know that qualifying is constantly bugged. I went into the race, and it was kind of simple, and it was getting late, so I just decided to carry on with it. So yeah, I decided to praise the aerodynamic department again, because the downforce was genuinely sensational around here. The car just was very, very well planted, as well as the chassis. Actually, the final sector, really, really happy with it. Overall, every element of the car worked this weekend. The aero was fine, the chassis was fine, and the power unit was also very, very good in a straight line. So we take all of that forwards, and we're going to move onwards now to the headquarters for the final piece of today's video before we do wrap it up. So there you can see is Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. Our rivalry with him, we beat him 4-2 in the race, which means overall now we are 6 points to 3 ahead of Gasly out of a possible 30. Speaking of the Team Acclaim side of things, we move up to level 6 on the Team Acclaim, same level as Jack Aiken now, and our Team Acclaim combined boost is now 48%, and we're on to level 9. So by the end of the Monaco Grand Prix, we should hit level 10, which does mean that we'll be able to get a third sponsor on the car, which is going to be crucial, because I believe the contracts for Jack Aiken expires in the... Oh, it's a glitch in the recording. Luckily, it was only loading up the headquarters that I had that glitch then. But yeah, Jack Aiken's contract expires mid-season, and I might consider getting a stronger driver in. Now, I know Jack is half Korean, which does beg the question, why would I get rid of him? The fact is he's half South Korean, so it's a bit disgusting. But anyway, guys, as you can see, then we've got 2.8 mil in the bank. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed today's episode. If you have, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. And in terms of R&D points, we've only got 158, so we can't do anything on that front. So it is pretty much just going to be a case of whether I want to upgrade something or not. I believe I did make an upgrade to one of the facilities in this episode, and then obviously in the next episode it would never saved. So there's no point in even showcasing that. But yeah, until then, guys, I will see you next time for the Monaco Grand Prix, where hopefully things resume to normal, which they should, because the patch came out. So yeah, take care all. Peace.